So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update live stream. This is the only public service watch announcement channel out there, the only one, ladies and gentlemen. And what we try to do is just bring you what's happening out there, what you guys are missing out because you guys have busy days, you guys are working hard, and you guys can, catch everything that's happening. But, I have, it's me and Sweet Kikino, and we work together and we try to find you everything that you guys need so you guys can continue on with your, living day. We do the work, you guys get to relax. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have a private watch group. It's under my name. Juan Felipe Nieves is on book face. It's on the book face, and you can go to under my name. You go to about, and you'll find there Opus and Time Watches, and you can try to request to join the channel, and maybe you get it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I said again, this is the only public service watch announcement live stream. Not pre-recorded, live. We don't care. We make hiccups if we say the wrong word. We don't care. You know what I'm trying to say because I'm stupid like that. Okay, so just to let you know, right? Just to let you know what's going on. Un poquito de agüita, a little water so I can, because now I'm going to go into action. Ladies and gentlemen, before I get into, all the topics that I have for you guys, I want to just let you guys know that today, ladies and gentlemen, precious metal materials, when you hear the prices and then when you hear the topics that I'm going to talk about, then you're going to understand everything that's happening around you guys. The first thing I'm going to tell you is the troy ounce price of rhodium is at $10,475. Palladium, the troy ounce of palladium is at $1,633. That's right. Okay? Platinum, ladies and gentlemen, platinum is at $1,916. Okay? Just to let you guys know what's going on, and it's all right. I still feel very, very powerful the way these precious metals are behaving, They're going to go like this. They're going to play with your heads, but you guys got to be firm and, keep there, esquivando, esquivando like the boxer, you know what esquivando is? Like that. And ladies and gentlemen, silver is at $75.90 the troy ounce. And the magical gold, ladies and gentlemen, is at $4,860 and is somewhat dropping as well. I'm not afraid to tell you that. I'm not afraid because I have an unbelievable watch market update show prepared for you guys. So I don't have a problem with that, No problem whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen. I want to first start by saying we want to be talking about the people from 47th Street in the Diamond District in New York City, in the Bronx. What in the Bronx? Where those people, all those characters that you guys love to love. Like the subway train jumper, the ghost train jumper, from the movie Ghost. You got that guy over there. You got the vacuum cleaner. You got Marcelito with the horse teeth, after they were all rotten, he fixed them up because he flim-flammed a couple of you out there and he was able to put una caja de diente of $20,000. They're big chiclets, like a horse teeth, really big. But he's there too, that guy, Marcelito horse teeth, And you also have, the Sinbad, Sinbad and the genie with the skin-tight hair and the man bun. You have those characters there. And ladies and gentlemen, they are the original. They are the original ones. They are the original ones that have all the blueprints of what to do with you tomato cans out there. But ladies and gentlemen, I got something to tell you that, these guys are unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, over there in 47th Street in the Diamond District, ladies and gentlemen, you got a gentleman by the name. See, I didn't say his name yet. I kept him for last because he's the main character in this topic that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about no other than 10 Commandments. You know who the 10 Commandments is? The 10 Commandments. The guy that wears the kangaroo hat. You know what I'm trying to say? Gucci hat. And he's always giving money to the people in the streets and all that good stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, and let me be the first one to tell you about the 10 Commandments. You know what I'm talking about? 10 Commandments, with the kangaroo hair. Kangaroo hat, like Walter Payton. Walter Payton used to wear the kangaroo hat, the running back from the Chicago Bears. Well, this guy's a flim-flammer. This guy's an infection. This guy's unbelievable, and he has the blueprints that his grandfather gave his father, and his father gave him, to the 10 Commandments. It's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody went over there to buy from the 10 Commandments over $100,000 on Rolex watches. And ladies and gentlemen, these watches were all butchered watches. No. We're not going to call them Frankenstein. We're going to call them butchered. Like the butcher, Sam the Butcher. Remember Sam the Butcher from the Brady Bunch? Sam the Butcher from the Brady Bunch, Sam the Butcher, that he used to go out with Alex, the housekeeper from the Brady Bunch, So these watches were all butchered, with unbelievable different dials, different bracelets. It's unbelievable, lab diamonds and all that good stuff. That guy over there, the 10 Commandments sold all these butcher watches to these people, and they were all fake watches, ladies and gentlemen. These people, they're an infection, ladies and gentlemen. But I gotta tell you, they're the ones that have the blueprints, and they sent out a memo to everybody else from the West Coast in California to Florida, Miami, to the two toddler body brothers, the Hindu brothers, like 7 Hindu brothers over there in the Lone Star State, Big Pun and Heavy D, and the 2 Jehovah Witness brothers, the Hungry Hippo, Mr. Magoo. It's too many people to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. These people over there in the Diamond District, you guys gotta watch out. You guys gotta watch out. They'll get you, ladies and gentlemen. These people were taught. They were taught by their grandparents, their father, their uncles, These people are unbelievable. I told you about Crazy Eddie. Crazy Eddie even went public, He was able to go public. This is how good these people are. No more pigs this Christmas. No more pigs this Christmas. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the only channel that tells you the truth. And I only tell you the truth because I'm stupid like that. And I do it for free, ladies and gentlemen. I do it for free, ladies and gentlemen. So you guys quit getting taken. You quit getting taken. Deeply. You guys got to stop this, ladies and gentlemen. Kino, no te metas, Kino. No te metas, Kino. No me estés haciendo así con las manos. No te metas, Kino. No te puedes meter. Yo sé lo que te estoy diciendo. Sam the Butcher. Sam the Butcher era el jevo de Alice. Unbelievable, Sam the Butcher. You know what I'm saying? And ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe what this 10 Commandment did. He sold those people, he sold them a bust-down Cartier watch. If you don't believe me, you Google it. If you don't believe me, you Google it. You Google it. Saludos, Thurston Howell III. My respect to you. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. The #1 watch market update show, chosen by no other than Fudinki and also Saks Goldman, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, going back to the Diamond District over there in 47th Street. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen. But he sold him a Cartier watch. The 10 Commandment young fella, that he has the blueprints from his grandfather. And he sold him the watch. And the guy left. But he felt a little bit edgy. And he took the watch and they told him that the watch, listen, that the watch was 100% fake. They even say maybe the movement was even fake too, ladies and gentlemen. So what happened was that the buyer, he called the 10 Commandment and he said to him, yo, 10 Commandment, the watch you sold me, the Cartier watch. You don't believe me? You Google it. You Google it, ladies and gentlemen. You Google it, ladies and gentlemen. the watch, you listen to this so you understand the talent these people have. Si te enganchan, te enganchan. You know, if they hook you, they hook you. They throw it out there to see if they can hook you. So he called them up. He said, yo, 10 Commandments, the watch you sold me is completely fake. Even the diamonds are lab diamonds. You know what 10 Commandments responded back to him? You're not going to believe this. This is how talented they are. But to be this way, you have to have it to back you up. You have to have it. You have to have it to back you up. Para tú ser un delincuente, for you to be tremendous delinquent, tremendous, flim-flammer, you have to have this to back you up quickly. So when the guy called him up, he responds back to him and he says, the 10 Commandment responds back. He says, no. Bring me the watch back. I'm going to give you the money back. That's how good they are. You see, you got to be like that. If si tú vas a ser un bandolero, if you're going to be a bandit, you have to have it to back you up. So he told the guy went back over there, and the 10 Commandments made it right. You never heard the word? Made it right. You understand me? That's what's happening out there, ladies and gentlemen. So when you go over there to that side of town, when you go there to the Bronx, 47th Street, the Diamond District, you know what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. But, I respect them, ladies and gentlemen, porque son unos delincuentes que saben. Son delincuentes. Son delincuentes que saben, papá. Saben, tiene la maña. La maña. You know what la maña is? Lasaña. Chef Boyardee, Unbelievable. I'm on fire today. Kino, ahorita yo hablo de eso. Yo hablo de eso ahorita. Yo lo tengo aquí escrito. Tú me lo pusiste aquí. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna change the subject to another subject, This is another subject. You remember a couple of years ago when they had the bucket challenge? You ever heard of the bucket challenge? The water bucket challenge? I don't know, it was like around 15 years ago, 10 years ago. And you will say, hello, my name is Kino, and I challenge this food for you through the water in your head. You remember that? You know what I'm trying to say? You understand what I'm trying to say? The bucket challenge, right? The bucket challenge. They've done a lot of things, bucket challenge, all these things, ladies and gentlemen. But I got something to tell you that's going to blow your hair back and knock your socks off, because nobody will tell you this. Only I will. And you know why I will, ladies and gentlemen? Because I'm not selling you no watches, and I'm not buying you no watches. So I can tell you whatever I want. Deputy Boxing Black Eyes with the Tweety Bird haircut will never tell you this. And his sidekick, Jiminy Cricket with the Chia Pet spray can hair with the Pete Rose baseball cap hair will never tell you this. They never will, but we will. And I will tell you. Remember the bucket, the water bucket challenge, ladies and gentlemen. The water bucket challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Here it goes. Here it goes, because I know you guys are waiting. Yo lo voy a decir ya. Yo lo voy a decir. Ladies and gentlemen, this one here is on behalf of no other than Sweet Kino. He's the one he's talking about the water bucket challenge. And this is him. He's the one that's taking credit for this, not me. Okay? I'm going to tell you now. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, here it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone is doing a no spend challenge this 2026. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Did you hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen, everyone is doing a no spend challenge, like a water bucket challenge. This is a no spend. No spend. No more pigs this Christmas. No more pigs. You understand me? No more. Salud diao. I'm crazy, guys. I'm sorry, I'm crazy. But I'm having fun. But listen to me, guys. This is for real. It's crazy that these los americanos, the Americans where we live at, the United States of America, we invent everything here. Valentine's Day, Halloween, Easter, the bunny rabbit. You know what I'm trying to say? All that good stuff. Thanksgiving. We have everything. We have everything here. We have all the Columbus Day, Chef Boyardee. We have everything in this country. And this country invents everything. And ladies and gentlemen, this country has come out with a new slogan. Ladies and gentlemen, and it goes this way. Everyone is doing a no-spend challenge in 2026, Papi. Papi, you heard it from me. Coño, you heard it from me. Come on, give me. Show me the owl. Show the power. The TV antenna is going to hit down. You know what I'm saying? Kino, no te metas. Si ya lo hice ya, Kino. No te metas. Dame la pastilla. No te metas. You understand me? You understand what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, you must salute the owl. If you are in this channel, you salute the owl. Like the Bohemian Grove. Over there in the Bohemian Grove, they all sit down on a big round table and they decide who's going to be the senator. They decide who's going to be the governor of Las Vegas. And they decide, ladies and gentlemen, who's going to be the president of the United States. Don't think for a moment that the color blue and the color red make a difference. This is what makes a difference. Deep, deep, deep. I'm just telling you what it is. I'm just telling you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go. So don't forget, what's the new trend? The new trend is everyone is doing a no spend challenges. No spend. No more pigs this Christmas. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. Ladies and gentlemen, I got something so interesting to tell you that, I couldn't even, I don't even know how to start, but I'm going to try. Ladies and gentlemen, I talk. Exactly, Pete. Exactly. Gracias, Pete. No more pigs this Christmas. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an embarrassment. I got 30 organic watch channel subscribers, spoofers, spoofing around, spooking around, and only 11 thumbs up. Es un bochorno, es an embarrassment, bro. Es an embarrassment. Kino, ¿qué van a dar una peseta? Ni una peseta, Kino, si son unos miserables. Si no me dan un thumbs up, ¿cómo me van a dar una peseta? No te metas en eso, Kino. No, tú lo miras al revés, lo que botas son botones y chicle. Y tabaco y porquería lo que botan, estás hediondo. No, Kino, no te metas conmigo, Kino. No vacile, Kino. No vacile, Kino, no te puedes meter. No te puedes meter. I'm a big fan, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta be honest. I'm like a big fan of this company, of this management firm. For all of you that don't know this, because you guys continue to skip around like bunny rabbits through life with a lollipop sucker in your mouth, I'm gonna tell you something. BlackRock. We're gonna be talking about BlackRock. And I didn't say a word to you guys because I'm a man of integrity. I'm a man of empathy. I'm a man of vision. Of vision. Can you believe that? But ladies and gentlemen, BlackRock last week, listen and learn. BlackRock sold $356,600,000 worth of Bitcoin. Believable, ladies and gentlemen. Let me salute him, guys. I don't want a TV antenna, TV lightning, and the tower will fall off. Let me salute him, please. I'm saluting them. Here it goes. Please, guys, give them the owl. Show them the owl. Show them the owl. They let me go. If you show them the owl, they let me go. They don't bother me. But you must show them the owl. And ladies and gentlemen, $356,600,000 worth of Bitcoin they sold. Las Gonorrea, the owners of the world. You don't know about that. You don't know about that. The owners of the world. You know, Lawrence. You know who Lawrence is? Lawrence. You know who Lawrence is? You know who Fink? You know who Fink is? Fink Larry. He sold $356,600,000. And you might be thinking, that's it? No, there's more. Because you guys were picking on your noses and you were eating it. While me and Sweet Kikino were preparing all this for you guys. And ladies and gentlemen, this is even a better one, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, while we were all busy, you know, watching The Honeymooners, I Love Lucy, The Simpsons, you know, distraction, quietly, and I mean quietly, BlackRock, quietly, ladies and gentlemen. Es que esto es una jodienda, brother, que son una jodienda. Esa gente de BlackRock, quietly yesterday, BlackRock moved. You ready for this, ladies and gentlemen? You ready? Are you following it? They're like ninjas. They're like ninjas, bro. They're like ninjas. Papi, there's nobody like that management firm. My respect to them. The Bohemian Grove. They're going to pick me up any moment. I'm telling you. $356,600,000 in Bitcoin. And yesterday, quietly, you know, when you guys were all bundled up, they moved yesterday quietly without nobody knowing nothing. No more pigs this Christmas out of the U.S. You guys don't want to know about this. You guys want to continue skip hopping around through life like bunny rabbits in the Playboy Mansion. You know, over there with that guy. What's his name? You know, the tall basketball player, you know. He played for over there for the Lakers, LA. I forgot his name. I forgot his name. He was unbelievable. He passed away, but he was always in the mansion with the bunnies. Forgot his name. Somebody help me. He was a center. He played for the Lakers, you know? I forgot his name. But Wicked, you're here. Will Chamberlain. There you go. Will Chamberlain. He was always there, man. He was packing steel, if you know what I mean. That's what they say. I'm only telling you what I read, you know? The book that I read. Wilt, the stilt, you know? They say over 5,000. He had over 5,000. Unbelievable. But let's go back to this, ladies and gentlemen. So they moved quietly over $2 trillion out of the United States of America. You know? And no one is talking about this. Only me and Sweet Kikino. Only me and Sweet Kikino talking about this. We can't believe that nobody in the United States of America are talking about this. You know why you guys ain't talking about this? Because you guys were too busy looking at the files, Epstein. You know, the files, Epstein. You were too busy looking at the files, Epstein. You know, a distraction, you know, you were watching that. And like Mr. Donut said, they're like ninjas. At nighttime, they move $2 trillion out of the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, esta gente son una, and nobody's talking about it. This isn't a crash. This isn't a crash. It's a prediction, ladies and gentlemen. This is a prediction. Esta gente son el diablo. Esta gente son el diablo. And it's a massive, you know what this is called? It's called a massive wealth. A massive wealth. You know what a massive wealth is, ladies and gentlemen? You know, a massive wealth transfer. One more time. This is a massive wealth transfer. Massive. There you go, Mr. Donut. El diablo. El diablo, Mr. Donut. Only they can do it elegantly. It's a massive wealth transfer. $2 trillion. Listen and learn. No sean pendejo. No sean pendejo. Listen to me. I can't make no more videos because I'm too busy. So I decided to make live streams for you people because I don't have time to be making videos any longer. I became too big. So I don't have time. I have to do a live stream for you guys. Because I don't have time no more. That he learned. He learned from 47th Street and how to sell lollipops in school. That's where he learned that. You know, Frank Larry learned, his parents showed him, take these 5 lollipops and show me how many you can sell of them. And that'll show me how good of a salesman you're going to become. And that's what he is. He's an unbelievable salespeople, papi. This is a money wealth transfer. You know, unbelievable. It works like a charm, papi. You know? Tú entendiste? Exactly, Thurston. Thank you, papa. You know what it is to move, papi. I remember when I was 18, 19 years old, and you would say the word, when I was, okay, I said it wrong. When I was 9, 10 years old, and you would hear the word millionaire, man, to me, it was like, wow, man, a millionaire, right? When I was 10 years old in the 70s, you know, in the Bronx, in 69, 70, 71, you would say $1 million. Wow. And then as I got older, you could only hear the teacher saying, well, if you keep on counting, you're going to reach $1 billion. And I remember to me, billion was like, wow, man, $1 billion, that's unheard of. And trillion, we never even talked about it. Trillion, we never even talked about $1 trillion. Today, people are moving around billions like it's a joke and trillions like it's like, no joda. Como, you know, la película Galígula. You know Galígula? You know Galígula? The movie Galígula? I bet you guys don't even know what the movie Galígula is. I double dare you know what Galígula is. You know what I'm saying? Galígula. You know, like Galígula. You know, these people are unbelievable. Mr. Donut. So today is trillion, papi. Galígula, papá. Galígula era un corrupto. Galígula was a corrupter, man. En los romanos, se entera en el diablo, Satanás. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, saludo Franco, coño, un abrazo, un cariño, Franco, tú eres uno de los míos. So, they move. It was a money wealth transfer. But somebody said there that was an unbelievable work of art of a washer and dryer laundry. You know, laundry. You know what I'm trying to say? Thunder, lightning, tang. You know, I gotta. You know, you use your mind. Use your mind. $2 trillion overseas. You know where it went to, ladies and gentlemen? Pa que se coman los mocos. It went to Japan. It went to Japan. And it went to India. It went to Japan and India, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know about this kind of stuff, man. You know? Wealth transfer. Massive wealth transfer. The world's biggest asset manager is betting. You know, like betting over there, you know, betting in the football game. He's betting in the football game over there and Rock Hard. You know what? In Rock Hard, you know? He's betting that the US dollar is losing all his power. Do you guys believe me? He's betting. That guy is betting, you know, that asset manager. You know what I'm talking about. The guy that he has little horns that come out. You know what I'm saying? And he salutes Dial over there in Bohemian Grove. You know, with the Bilderbergers. You know who Schwab? You know who Schwab is? Schwab. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I know it's something like Schwab. Schwab. You know? Schwab. Or how do you call the guy when Ethan Holland talks, everybody listens? How do you call that one? Oh my God. Let me drink a little bit more of this Don Julio. This is the #1 Watch Market Update show, guys. Come on. Get with the program. You know? Kino, ni una peseta, no me jodas más. Ya, no me hagas más señas, ni una peseta. Exactly. Exactly, Wicked. Exactly. Well done, Wicked. You learned it. Dracula, papi. Dracula, papi. Dracula. 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 But I gotta make it funny for you guys. Because if I make it serious, I'm just the same as all the ones that have been flim-flamming you and fleecing you. You know? The ones who have been, hoodwinking you. Those hucksters that you guys like. That you like to praise. They give it to you seriously and nice and pressed. I give it to you funny and wrinkled. Exactly. It's better to laugh and cry. Exactly. Porque, papi, they're finishing us. $2 trillion, man. It just went quietly, and they're betting that the US dollar is losing power. And they are rotating cash. Listen to this. They're rotating cash. This is crazy, man. This is, oh my God. Oh man. This, I feel bad because some of you, you guys are still thinking, and here it goes, because I haven't said it one time since the show started. Ladies and gentlemen, the watch market is dead. The watch market is dead. Listen to me. It's all an illusion, the numbers that you're hearing. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is buying watches, Bobby. And listen to me. If you're buying watches, here it goes. Start buying at 60 cents to the dollar. Start buying at 50 cents to the dollar. Did you guys hear everything I told you? And I haven't got to the ending still. I still haven't got to the ending, I'm telling you, like that Schwab guy, Charles Schwab, or E.F. Hutton, you know, the Bilderbergers. You understand me? The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, J.P. Morgan, Vanguard. You know who Vanguard is? Do you know who Vanguard is? Papi, listen to me. BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, El Triángulo. Is this. El Triángulo. El Triángulo. You know what triángulo means? It's the triangle, the Bermuda Triangle. That's what it is, Papi. I know you guys don't want to hear about that because you guys want to hear lies. Lies are better than truth, Lies. I'm telling you what it is. I'm telling you what it is. And ladies and gentlemen, markets like Japan and India, investors are panicking over headlines. Smart money is loading up. Listen to this one. Smart money is loading up on ETFs. I think it's something to that. ET, ¿cómo es la cosa aquí, no? ET. Y como el tipo ese UFO, ET for home. They're loading up on ETFs, ladies and gentlemen. Smart money is loading up on ETFs. Can anybody tell me what ETFs are? ETFs. I want to know. I think it's like ET. ET from home. There you go. Exchange Trade Fund. ETF Exchange Trade Fund. Thank you. I don't know too much about this. You guys know more than me. I'm just a clown. I'm like Homie the Clown. That's who I am. I'm a clown. And you can call me clown. It's fine. But I'm giving you what it is, like mutual funds. And ladies and gentlemen, so they're loading up on ETFs. Like, listen to this, like VWO. You know what VWO is? V as in Victor, W as in win, and O as in over. Over the moon. You know what I'm saying? This is unbelievable. And also EWJ, like Jehovah's Witness, EWJ. I don't know what that one means either. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. But I'm telling you what I hear and what I read in the bathroom. I know you guys don't want to hear this. I know. Look at this. 32 recovering tomato cans and 19 thumbs up. It's an embarrassment, papi. What I'm dropping here today for you guys for free. It's an embarrassment. For free. It's an embarrassment, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm warming up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm warming up. I'm warming up. I'm warming up, ladies and gentlemen. And you guys are believers. You guys are believers. You know what a believer is? You guys were all believers. You guys were all believers. And you're going to say, what is Juan talking about believers? I'll get there. Be patient, papi. Be patient. Be patient, you know? Have you guys ever read The Smartest Men of Babylon? Has anybody read The Smartest Men of Babylon? Okay, I just said that. I wanted to just get that off my chest, you know? Even Gold. Here goes gold now. Even Gold. Great book. Yes, it is, Mr. Dono. Yes, you got to read it. You got to read it, Pete. Tremendous book. The Richest Man of Babylon, papi. I remember I was taking a flight from Miami, and I was going to go visit my mother in Puerto Rico. And they gave me that book. You know, I must have been in my late 30s. I say 39, heading into my 40s, you know. And I read that book. Man, it did me so well. It did me so well, so I'm going to recommend it to you people. The Richest Man of Babylon. I'm not going to tell you no more. It's going to blow your hair back and knock your socks off. That's all I got to tell you. That's all I got to tell you. That's all I got to tell you. Yes, George Orwell too. Exactly. Well, he did 1984, you know? He did that. But let me finish here now with gold. Ladies and gentlemen, even gold just got reclassified. Gold got reclassified by the owners of the world. Gold got reclassified as a tier 1 asset. As a tier 1 asset. Gold got reclassified as a tier 1 asset. También Rich Man Poor Man also too. Yes, it is. Also, very, very good book. 48 Powers is a good one too. You know, it's a good one too. So you know what I'm trying to say. But listen to me. It's a little booklet. You know, it's not even a book. It's how do you call those things? You know, you can put it in your back of your pants and walk around and read it whenever you want. You know, it's not a pen. It has a word. Has a word. It's not a pamphlet. It's like you know, one of those novel. You know, a paperback. Coño grande, eres macho grande. Like it's a paperback, and you put it there and you read it. Papi, and it tells you everything. And when you read that, you know, you're going to come out. Okay? So going back to the gold, like I told you, you know, that gold is reclassified as a tier 1 asset, meaning banks, listen to this, papi, que son una jodida, son una gonorrea. Meaning banks can now use it exactly like cash. The rules, ladies and gentlemen, the rules have changed. Gentlemen, the rules have changed. Listen to me, man. Papi, somebody said before, we have to laugh para no llorar. Because lo que viene, what's coming for us, man, buckle up, man. It's a full bucket of shit coming our way, ladies and gentlemen. And these owners of the world, they're not going to get taken. We're going to get taken. Not them. I told you at nighttime, like ninjas, like Mr. Donut said, like ninjas, quietly, nobody heard nothing. 2 trillion were moved. 2 trillones para Japón y la India. For Japan and India, ladies and gentlemen. And now, gold is reclassified as a tier 1 asset, ladies and gentlemen. Es que esta gente son el diablo. Son el diablo. And banks can now use it exactly like cash. Unbelievable. You know, unbelievable. Listen to me. You cannot wait for the media to tell you when to make a move, man. You can't. The media is going to tell you ya cuando ya pasó ya. You understand me? The media is going to, you cannot wait for the media to tell you, hey, man, do this. No. You gotta read between the lines, man. You gotta read between the lines. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to get you tired with this issue. You know, you cannot continue waiting until the media tells you what's going to happen next. You can't, Papi. You can't. They're the owners of all the magazines in the world. They're the owners of all the newspapers of all the world, around the world. They're the owners of all the radio stations. Radio stations. Salud, gracias, papá. Yes, please send them my regards, Pete. Please do, please. They're the owners of all the radio stations. They're the owners of all the broadcast systems, ABC, NBC, CBS, PBS, you know, all that good stuff. They're the owner of everything, Papi. Yes. They're the owners of everything, and we're fraud. But here it is. I told you a word, and you probably forgot about this word. I told you this. You know, if you're a believer, you're a believer. You know, and if you're not a believer, you're not a believer. Well, ladies and gentlemen, since last year, you were a believer if you paid $125,000 for a Bitcoin. You were a believer. You were a believer, you know? And they wanted you to be a believer. You know where? In Bohemian Grove, the Bilderbergers. You know what I'm saying? They wanted you to be a believer. They wanted you to be a believer and pay the $125,000. And most of millions and millions of people bought the $125,000. You know, it's a stock market. You know, it's a stock. It's a stock market, you know? People think it's real Bitcoin money. You know what I'm saying? Lucky Charms, you know? You know, the believers. Thank you, Mr. Premium. The believers. $125,000. And you said, I'm a believer. I'll take a coin. Boom. And you pay for it. And ladies and gentlemen, as soon as you pay the $125,000, somebody saw something fishy. You know, somebody saw something fishy. Forget about BlackRock now. We're going to now somebody like you and me. Like you and me. They saw something fishy and they bought it for $125. And they said, you know what? I want out. And they sold it for $124,900 and change. Last year. And then it went down to, you know, you wouldn't feel it because it's nothing. Then it went down, you understand me. Then it went down to 122. 122. Come on, guys. Listen to me. Help me out. Help me out, Papi. Don't be afraid. We're talking about a year, ladies and gentlemen. A year. And ladies and gentlemen, you were a believer. You were a believer. And somebody sold it, you know, for 120. 120. I'll buy one for 120 because he was a believer. He bought for 120, not 125. And the guy that bought for 120, he started noticing something. It went down to 90. And the one that bought for 120, he talked to his wife at nighttime. And he said, I don't know what I did. I bought for 120 thinking I was getting a bargain. And it's down to 90. And the wife smacked him in the mouth. And he sold. He sold it. How much money did he lose? Come on, guys. He lost $30,000 at 90. He thought he was a smart one. He thought he was a great believer. He thought he was a great believer, ladies and gentlemen. It's like Las Vegas. The house never loses at the Bohemian Grove. Saluting the owl. There's a sucker born every day. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's unbelievable. And you're still a believer. You're still a believer, ladies and gentlemen. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you know, somebody, the guy, listen, I'm going to go back all the way to the beginning again. All the way to the beginning. Listen and learn. The guy that sold for $124,999, he said, man, I got $125,000. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Donut. I teach you guys for free. And what do I get? This is what I get for free. So the guy that started the snowball, he has practically $125,000. And he says to himself, man, this thing is already at $80,000. He says, this thing is at $80,000. And I have 102, I have 100. Listen and learn, the believer. He's still a believer. He got out of it, but the horns pulled him back in, the horns. He said, man, I'm gonna, instead of buying one coin, I'm gonna buy 2 coins because I have 125. And if I buy it at 80, it's gonna cost me 60. I just got to come up with another, I don't know, another $35,000. And now I have 1. I have 2. I don't have 1, I have 2 now. The guy that started the snowball. So he takes it. And ladies and gentlemen, remember, he bought 2 now for $80,000 each. I'm a master, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the best. I'm self-proclaimed the best. Self-proclaimed storyteller. Me and Sweet Kid Kino. It's unbelievable that Sweet Kid Kino knows too much. The watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry about that. 50 cents, 40 cents to the dollar you pay. Nobody's buying watches. Watch market is dead. Nobody's buying watches. So the guy that had the $125,000 practically, he got smart now and he says it went down to 80 and I'm the smartest one in the world and I'm going to buy now 2 coins, 2 big coins at $80,000 a piece. Has 125 that he had. He comes up with another 35. He buys 2 of them. And ladies and gentlemen, for your information, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin. Let's talk about the gentleman that bought the 2 coins at $80,000. And he got out of it. And then he went back in it and he put some more money on top of it. Hay que ser come mierda, papi. Hay que ser tremendo come mierda. You came out and you went back in. You understand me? Your wife almost cheated on you. Almost. And nothing happened. But then you send her away in another trip and vacation. And this time she got you. So the guy pays the 2 Bitcoins, $80,000. And ladies and gentlemen, for your information, because I'm tired today, You know, I have too much work that I'm doing for you guys for free. Bitcoin today dropped to a price that you're not going to believe it. Are you a believer? Are you a believer like the guy that, you know, he had 124,999 and he sold out and he lost like $100? Are you a believer? Because, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin today dropped. You don't believe me? You Google it. Right now, Google it. Bitcoin dropped to $63,566.68. One more time, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin dropped today $63,566.68. But the guy bought 2 coins at $80,000. How much did he lose? How much did he lose? Because that guy, that chicken head that sold at 124,999, when he saw now that it went down to 63, he gonna sell now. Give me my money. I'm out. I already lost here $40,000. So you understand what's going on. This has been happening last year. And people think, well, how does it happen? Well, every day, millions and millions of people are pulling out. And ladies and gentlemen, if I tell you this, I don't even want to tell you because, you know, you don't want to sound like a Meshuggah, you know, exactly. The 65, now it's a 65. Thank you. You know more than me, premium. You say what it is, but it's not no more 125 premium, right? It's not no more 125. And you're a believer. Maybe you're a believer, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm not saying you are, Mr. Premium. I have a lot of respect for you. But the whole game here is if you're a believer. If you are a believer. If you're a believer, that's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. And people every day are cashing in. You know, this is a stock market, you know. You're trading, you know. You're trading, you know, like an example, ladies and gentlemen. That guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, please help me out. The guy from Pennsylvania Avenue over there, you know, the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, the one that hangs around with Marco Rubio, you know, Marquito Rubio, you know, his lap pet. Has a lap pet, Marco Rubio sits on his lap. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that gentleman from Pennsylvania Avenue, I don't care what team you belong to, whether it's the red team or the blue team, to me it's the same shit with different smell. You know? Same shit with different smell. That's all. I don't care if you belong to the red or the blue. Es la misma mierda con diferente peste. It's the same shit with different smell. That's all. And that guy from Pennsylvania Avenue was saying that he was trying to make Bitcoin, I don't know if it's called, please help me with the word, you know? Please help me with the word, what he's trying to make it legalize, make it a real asset. I don't know what it is. But then all this happened in a matter of a week. So if he was going to sign to make something, you know what I'm saying? To make something, I don't know, help me with the word. No sean lambones. Help me with the word. You know, it's all a sketch, papi. You're not in that club. That's a big club, and me and you are never going to make it. And the guy that spent $125,000 on the Bitcoin because he was a believer, he's never going to make it, papi. He's never going to make it, papi. He's never going to make it. I just finished telling you that BlackRock sold $356,600,000 of Bitcoin. You know, that's what I got to tell you. So if you are thinking of becoming a believer, be careful. I'm not telling you not to do it. You do whatever you want. It's your money. You do whatever you want. You spend it as you please. You know, it's like you guys have a difficult time giving me a thumbs up, but you don't have a difficult time being a believer and giving 125 away of your children's tuition money. You understand me? You don't have a problem with that. But giving me a thumbs up, it's like, tienen el dedo metido en el joyete. You don't know what I say? I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. But I'm trying to tell you what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. Gold will go to the moon. That's all I got to tell you. You're not going to tell me that a man made Bitcoin and gold has been around for, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to exaggerate. For 3,000 years, you know, Bitcoin is better than this because it's made by a man. No comas mierda. No comas mierda. No comas mierda. No comas mierda. Listen to me. I'm a little bit agitated. You know, I spoke to you about many things today. I told you already that everyone is doing a no spend challenge in 2026. I told you that within the Diamond District over there, 10 Commandments is selling fake watches with lab diamonds, and you guys are still buying them, and you still are maintaining that flim flammer's lifestyle. You're maintaining his red gold fast car, his green avocado car, his ripped jeans, his kangaroo hat. You know what I'm saying? You're maintaining his $17,000 steak dinner, you know, sushi dinner, Montclair sweaters, Supreme hoodies. You know, that's what you like. You like that. But me, what do I get? This. No te meta aquí, no. No te meta. Esto es bochornoso. Es bochornoso, Kino. Coño, con la información que yo le doy a la gilipollas esta. Yo le doy una información a la gilipollas. You know what gilipollas is, ladies and gentlemen? You don't know what gilipollas is? I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. I'm telling you. I'm not going to tell you. You know, EF, you know? El jefe over there in Pennsylvania Avenue, papi. Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm telling you, papi, listen, they're on to us. They're on to us. They're about to hijack our bank accounts. They're about to hijack our bank accounts, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I know what I'm telling you, you know? Eso es así, grande, eso es así. Like ninjas dressed in black, ladies and gentlemen. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a little taste of a watch market update so you guys can continue skip hopping around through life like bunny rabbits. You know, this is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. We got 35 organic watch channel subscribers, spoofers, you know, spoofing around, spooking around, you know, spooking around. You know, we don't know what they are. We don't know, but they're here. They're here. They want to hear me, papi. They want to hear the live stream, papi. Esto es un canal que es una jodienda. Papi, you know what you want to hear? You want to hear Deputy Boxing Black Eyes telling you that he's going to go to the house of Black Pain. To the house of Black Pain. That's what you guys want to hear. You guys want to hear that Deputy Boxing Black Eyes, the Puerto Rican Charlie Brown, you know, Dora the Explorer, you know, the mad scientist, Jiminy Cricket with the Chia Pet spray can hair, with the baseball Pete Rose cap on. That's what you want to hear, that they're going to go to Black Pain's house. No. That's what you want to hear. You want to hear that. Qué tristeza, Kino. Kino, yo te lo estoy diciendo. Yo me tengo que retirar de esto ya, Kino, porque tengo un dolor en el corazón. I said that I got to retire because I'm getting pain in my heart for you guys, you know? Porque ustedes son unos lambones. Listen to me. Listen to me. They're making an attack. They're making an attack on this channel. They're making an attack. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you this, you're not going to believe me. Do you know who's returning back to the watch industry? Do you know who's returning back to the watch industry? He's been lost. He's been lost for, I would say, a good 16 months. I'm going to tell you, he's been lost like for 16 months because he was talking about, coño, Thurston Howell, eres el diablo. Thurston, eres el diablo. Prune Face is making a return. Prune Face is making a return porque he needs chelitos. He needs plata. He needs chavo. He needs money. He needs cuartos. He needs euros. La situación está jodida. No money, no honey. Deep. No money, no honey. No more pigs this Christmas. No more pigs. No more pigs. He's looking for pounds. Pounds. You know, I don't know how you call it. Pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, didn't I tell you that that boxer, he was busted, he was broke, he's making a sue. He's suing the boxing council and all that for $300 million. They're going to try to get him a fight. Over there, you know, over there with that guy over there. You know, the guy from the guy that does the people that fight with bare knuckles, you know, for $100 million. Because he's broke, papi. Because the owners of the world wanted their money back. You know what I'm talking about? The boxer guy, you know? He likes to give money, you know? Like that. It's over. It's over. The owners of the world, you must obey. And if you don't obey the owners of the world, they'll come for you. They'll come for you. You know? You saw what happened to the guy that he didn't believe the people from Hollywood. You know, he didn't believe. He didn't believe. What's his name again? I'm gonna just say this so I can let you guys go. There was a comedian that he was unbelievable. He was so advanced making jokes that he was incredible, and they were giving him $50 million. $50 million to make a couple of more sitcoms in the show. What's his name? Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle, ladies and gentlemen. And people went to see him. The people went to visit him in his house. They went dressed in black with hats and black sunglasses. Listen and learn. Listen and learn. It's for free. And ladies and gentlemen, he was sitting in his house, and the people went with the black jacket, black tie, white shirt, hats and sunglasses, and they knocked on the door, and they came to visit him, the man in black. And they sat down with him. They sat down with him. And then they took off their sunglasses and they took off their hat. And suddenly it was Michael Jackson. And then the other guy took off his hat and he took off his glasses and he had a white beard. And it was Elvis. And then he took off the other hat and the jacket and all that. And it was Prince. And then the lady went like that. It was Whitney Houston. You don't know about that. You don't know about that. He got so scared. He got so scared that he was shaking in his boots, and he went to Africa to play with zebras and tigers and lions and leopards. You know what I'm trying to say? And wildebeests and giraffes. He went crazy. And then he was replaced. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this Watch Market Update show. I'm not going to give you a Watch Market Update because I'm tired. I'm tired. My elbows hurt. You know, I've done a lot. I hope you enjoyed this Watch Market Update show. You learned something, what's happening with gold, and where gold is going, and what the owners of the world are doing to you. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if you are buying watches, this is the way I'm buying watches. If I'm not paying you 40 cents to the dollar, and it depends what watch it is. It depends what watch it is. If I'm not paying you 40 cents to the dollar, 50 cents to the dollar, 60 cents to the dollar, I ain't buying nothing. And I advise you to do the same thing. I advise you to do the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of me and Sweet Kid Kino, listen to me, ladies and gentlemen, before I leave, because I want the stations all over the West Coast to hear what I'm going to say. Everything that I said here tonight is all allegedly. It is all allegedly. Un abrazo y un cariño. Los quiero mucho. A big embrace, a big hug. Have a good night. And like me and Sweet Kid Kino say always, take care and brush your hair. Peace. Watch it with Elvis, Michael Jackson, and Prince, and Whitney. They're coming for you. Ciao, bye-bye.